Today we are talking about social reality. I looked at this over today, yesterday when I was like, what are we talking about for Cam Church? And most of the time, if it's coming from this book, I have a pretty good sermon prepared. But when I saw social reality was coming up, I said, wow, this is divinely timed, because I've really been thinking about how we are generating this hologram together as collaborators. So many of you have seen the pre-mink video that he made discussing Unicult, and now they were talking about the Olympic rings and things like that. We will go into that a little bit. I may or may not use Microsoft Paint because it seems as though that does seem to help some people. So if you have your copy of Fundamentals of Unicult, you're going to want to turn it to page 36. That's my favorite number. To page 36. I was just realizing I like 36 because it's 3, 6, and then if you add them, it's 9. And then I was thinking about Tesla saying that the 3, 6, and the 9 are the secrets to the universe. So I think it's cool that that's my favorite number now that I realize that. I always didn't know exactly why. Okay. So I'll read a little bit from this book. If you have it, read along. Social reality is a reality that 2 or more people collectively agree on. The sky being blue is a social reality, and the idea that money has value is a social reality. You may feel frustrated at times working within or against social realities. For instance, if you think the idea of money is stupid, you will likely feel frustrated that nothing that you do seems to get you away from having to deal with it. Your personal reality and personal beliefs about money are not as strong as social reality. So I think we've all been there. Like, this is page 36. We've all been there, and we've been like, if you're on the original version, if you have the first edition is going to be a different number. So if someone has the first edition, you can share the page number of that. This is the second edition. I think we've all experienced that feeling that we have that money is stupid. Why do we all put so much energy into this thing that, I just want to live without money, but then you find pretty quick that you can't. Why? Why is that? And when we talk about manifestation and we talk about the power that each of us have to create our own reality, that can be a very confusing wrench in a spanner in the woodworks if you're in New Zealand, or a wrench in the gears. It can slow you down, and it can make you confused. So if you feel like you are page 36, I don't know why I had to say it so many times. Okay, so when you are a manifester, you have a certain amount of power, and I think that this is where we're going to get into some really interesting stuff. And I think, as always with Unicult, if this doesn't benefit you, you don't have to worry about believing it. If it doesn't benefit you, don't believe it. But I think entertaining these ideas is where things start to help you create your own belief system that is beneficial to you. So when we're talking about manifestation as a person who is generating a consciousness reality, okay, you are working within your personal reality. You are working within spiritual reality, which we covered last week. If you haven't seen that Cam Church episode, you can find it on the Unicult YouTube. We're working with physical reality, and we're working with social reality. So how does this all piece together? All of these different realities are generating their own system, their own matrix, their own simulation of reality and of truth. Each of these aspects of reality have different rules associated to them. They have different mechanics. If you think of like a physics engine, it's a bunch of different things overlapping each other to create the one that we're living in, that we experience. So when we talk about manifestation, if you're just starting on the spiritual journey, you say, okay, well, belief makes real. We create our own realities. And you're like, I'm just a good person, and it really hurts me that people get killed. Like, why do people get killed? Why did I create that? Did I create that? And there's a lot of answers to that question. The first answer is there's a part of you inside of yourself that can comprehend murder and can comprehend wanting to murder someone. And so that comprehension, because you can comprehend it, that makes it a part of you. It doesn't mean it's a part of you that you exist, that you put a lot of energy into, but you have that inside of you as an understanding. Then we can say, what are your behaviors? Do you want to repress people? Do you want to tear them down when you get revenge? Do you want to hurt people? Do you want to harm them? This is a lesser extent of murder. So you are responsible for the aspects of yourself which are detrimental to yourself and to other people. Then we can say, after we take responsibility for what we can, after we begin within, we say begin within. After we say begin within, and you analyze, okay, I can comprehend the aspect of murder. Okay, there are aspects of myself which want other people to be murdered. Also, maybe I eat meat and I'm participating in murder. And you can see that that's a maybe a lesser version to you, and you feel okay with it. You put other people down, it's a lesser version to you. You feel okay with it. That's up to you. Then and only then can we start to look at social reality. And we can say, if you are someone who has dealt with all of your feelings of these negative realities, and you've analyzed your own behaviors, and you've analyzed your own spaces where you are contributing to the harm. And when I say that you're contributing to the harm, I don't mean to spiral out and say, oh my God, I'm so horrible. I should be miserable. I should die. I should be so terrible. That's not the goal of knowledge. The goal of awareness and the goal of knowledge is to spiral upward into benefit. There's benefit and there's detriment. And these are the two directions. There's a two-directional road in the universe. Every action moves you either toward benefit or toward detriment. And this is what we call good and evil. So when you take responsibility for the things in your life which are detrimental to you or to other beings, then that information should not send you further on a path of detriment. Instead, it should give you an awareness so that you can change your behavior and move upward into benefit. So when you take responsibility for the reality that you're manifesting, there's a certain point in time where you can say, I've done the work. I've done the spiritual work. I've investigated my own reality. And I'm ready to start thinking about social reality. What is social reality? Social reality is a collection. It's a collaboration. It's a spiritual collaboration it's a spiritual and physical collaboration between more than one person. In our society, we have normalized murder in the form of meat. We have normalized murder in the form of not having any semblance of gun control. And we've normalized violence and murder in movies and in the police and in our families. Violence and murder are connected. And I think that when we look at, and I'm just using this as an example because it helps us understand, I think all of us have a recoiling away from violence. We have a recoiling away from murder. We have this feeling that we are not part of that. That is just so terrible. But then we enter into our own violences. They might be as small as verbal violences. It might be flipping someone off in traffic. It might be cutting someone off. It might be zooming through a crosswalk when someone's obviously waiting. It might not be letting another car in. There's a lot of car-based violence. It might be coming home and unloading on your kid when you get home from a hard day. It might even be in the form of sex. We have a lot of violence normalized in our sexual consciousness, and that is not beneficial. It's a form of processing. It's a form of dealing with trauma. It's a form of taking responsibility for the energy that's circulating, and it's a form of transmutation. It's important. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying it shouldn't exist. I'm not saying kink shame, but I'm saying in the long run, that's not a great place to stay. That's a place for us to explore as a culture And then I think it will be very beneficial for us to slowly start to raise our energy up spiritually during our sexual encounters, so that we can find the true connection that that sex brings. Sex is about connecting your root chakra and your crown chakra and interweaving it with someone else's. So right now we're in the root chakra. We're in that very, and I don't mean all of us, I just mean like on Pornhub, right? The choking and the spitting and the hitting and the all of that is it's not wrong, it's just lower vibrational. It's in some ways detrimental, and it will help us ascend into higher ways of being. I know this because I've been through it. So where are we? Spiritual reality, social reality is the collection of energy that we are all co-collaborating on. It's the idea that my personal reality has a certain level of power, and someone else's energy has equal amounts of power. If you are a CEO, if you're a homeless person, we all have equal amounts of power. The idea of the social hierarchy is false. That's a social reality. It's not reflective of spiritual reality. It happens to be reflective of physical reality because of money, but also, money translates to, maybe you have a big house. Money translates to, maybe you can pay someone to do something for you. You could pay someone to do anything for you. And so that ends up creating a physical and live stream is banned. Oh, wow. I guess I'm not allowed to talk about choking and spitting. This dress. Let me see if I can restart it. You are currently banned. You can live stream again in 9 minutes. Okay, someone remind me when 9 minutes is up, and then I will, violation type, serious pornography. I got banned on TikTok for having serious pornography. I said the word pornography, and I said it was bad. Okay, anyways. Social reality is the idea that multiple people agree on something. And okay, so I have this much power. You have equal amounts of power. We all have equal amounts of power as our personal reality and as our spiritual reality. These amounts of power are manipulated into a social reality hierarchical framework that then is reflected into physical reality. Are you following me? So this is because truth is multidimensional. There isn't just one truth. This is what we're talking about with regards to the multidimensional nature of the universe. There are multiple versions of truth. What that means is that there is physical truth, there is personal truth, there is social truth, and there is ultimate truth, and there is spiritual truth. And all of these things co-collaborate with each other in order to make the wonderful world that we experience, this amazing energy soup that we call reality. So how does it so happen that my equal power and your equal power, what happens when they work together? Do we double? Do we just add it? Unicultists will know the answer to this. Do we just add that power together? No. When two or more people work together, the power is exponential. That means that when two people work together, it's 4 times as much as one person. When 3 people work together, it's 9 times as much as one person together. And when you understand that, you understand the importance of joining Unicult or another group of people who are aligned conceptually, emotionally, and spiritually with the same things. So when we understand the power that each person has, and it's equal, and we understand the power that we have as a group, it's exponential, we can understand the importance of creating a group such as Unicult, or even just working with your group of friends. It's sometimes very hard to work as a collaborator with other people. If you're a musician or something like that, you understand the frustration that can come with trying to work with other people. But when it works, when you truly can harmonize the multiple energies together into a unified song where each person's unique reality contributes to the whole, you create something better than any of the individuals could have created on their own. This goes beyond Unicult. Unicult is the microcosm. Well, the microcosm is your own consciousness, right? If you can harmonize all the different aspects of yourself, your child self, your higher self, your traumatized self, all of these different aspects of yourself. If you can harmonize those aspects of yourself to work together, you're doing unitopian work inside your own consciousness. If you start a band or you join Unicult and we figure out how to collaborate together in Unicult and we harmonize all of our different energies together, that is unitopian work on a mid-level. And when we all together as a planet, we know this is possible, when we all together as a planet work together to create harmony on Earth, that means raising up the people at the lowest vibration, which are people who are greedy, also chaotic, low vibrational addicts. When we raise up all these people, even the people who are billionaires, who are just so clueless and they feel like they are allowed to repress everybody else by owning as much money as they have and not contributing otherwise to society, when we raise all those people up spiritually, the whole planet will be better and we will create Unitopia on Earth. It's about each of us understanding that truth, and it's about each of us working on it in our own realities. So we don't have to worry about the whole world. We don't. We have to worry about our own consciousness first and foremost. Tell me if you think figuring out the harmony of your own consciousness first and foremost is easy. That's a lifelong hustle, right? Figuring out your own consciousness, understanding your own harmony, merging all the different aspects of yourself is incredibly difficult. It takes incredible awareness. It takes incredible focus. It takes so much healing on a personal level and on a societal level. So when we talk about fixing the whole world, that's the thing we need to worry about the most, because we are consciousness creators. And when we're creating our consciousness, we're creating the matrix reality of social reality. And we are all co-creators. So think of yourself as an orb of energy, right? You're an orb of energy. You're a circular form of electromagnetism, and you've got a little human shape inside of this orb of electromagnetism. And your emotions actually raise or lower the vibration of your sphere. Recently, I've been seeing colors and other dimensions, sometimes with my eyes open, sometimes with my eyes closed, and they're wonderful. The other day, I had my eyes closed, I was going to sleep, and I started seeing this incredible purple. I mean, it was just incredible. It was this electric, violet, slightly blue, slightly pink at times. It was like an undulating color. And my consciousness was like, that's your color. That's the color that I radiate. So when we talk about electromagnetism and yourself as an energy being, our eyes are limited in the sense that they can only pick up a small range of frequency. You as a person have a color. If you could take your energy as a sphere, as a ball, and you could see it with your eyes, you would be a certain color. We just don't have that capacity in our visible range. So think about that. I think that's very magical. That's just something that I recently have been experimenting with. And if you meditate and you ask for visions, you know how sometimes you watch too much TV and you close your eyes and you can see it? You got to cleanse your pineal gland. You got to spend some time in nature. And then when you close your eyes, you'll be able to see better visions of interdimensional realities instead of just TV. TV is a form of blinding the third eye. It blasts it with so much information of light of a certain quality that it disrupts your third eye. So if you take time away from your screens, away from your TV, away from your Netflix, and spend time. I mean, the other day I went to the plant store and I was looking at plants for so long. When I closed my eye, all I could see was plants, and then I had really incredible visions that day. So I do think that spending time in nature is a really good palate cleanser for your third eye. Okay, so you are a spherical energy. The electromagnetism of your heart radiates out in a torus energy interdimensionally. It's a flying rainbow lasagna. Go follow Flying Rainbow Lasagna and you'll understand what I'm talking about, or not. You know, there's some complex stuff that she has going on, but she's a genius. So your energy is radiating out in some form. Sphere is easy to understand. And you're co-creating with everybody else around you. So my sphere of energy is most heavily concentrated around my physical form. This is my domain. My consciousness is my domain. My physical body is the closest thing to my consciousness. It interacts with my consciousness. I do this. I think I want to explain what that is. I move my hands out. I want to smile. I want to show that my vibration is higher. My mouth raises. My physical form is my domain. What else is my domain? My house. This is all my stuff. It's organized in the way that my consciousness created it to be. I put everything in this space and I moved it all around multiple times, moving physical objects. This is my domain. So we've got the concentrated sphere of energy here. We've got the larger sphere of energy in the home, and that's a physical domain. And then we have another sphere of energy, which is encapsulating all the people we know and all the things we know and the whole, like our understanding of the whole world. So because we can conceptualize of the world, and the way that we conceptualize of it makes it a part of us. That's our biggest sphere in the universe, too. I think flat earth is a way of restricting sometimes our consciousness. It's an attempt to control the conscious mind. The idea of it, I mean. Who knows? Who knows? Somebody knows. So the aspect that I'm trying to help you understand is the idea of the circle of life. And have you guys seen this? I'm sure you've seen it before. It's a co-creation, ultimate Venn diagram, reality. And this is you. This is your sphere. Okay, this is your sphere, and these are the other spheres, and they're co-creating. And ultimately, you're all creating Earth. That's what Earth is. It's a co-creation project. So yes, your personal reality is true. In your sphere of reality, you are creating your own energy vibration, your own color, your own reality. There you are. You are here. And here I am. And here's someone else. And all of us work together, and our consciousness overlaps in an interdimensional way that is impossible to truly comprehend. And we create the simulation Earth. That's what's happening here. So right now, what's happening is all of us are out of alignment with each other. We're creating a discordant reality. Once we learn how to listen to one another, once we learn how to collaborate with one another, thank you, Gabby. I think we're almost done, so we won't do it. Once we learn how to collaborate with one another, and we learn how to have empathy. Empathy is the key. Because through empathy, I'm living in my reality, and my vibration is of a certain color, and someone else's vibration is weird, and I don't like it, and it makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want to know about it. I raise my vibration up to a higher vantage point of unconditional love and understanding and non-judgment, and that actually happens within the self, overcoming your own fears and doubts about your own self, because your own insecurity is causing your judgment of other people. I promise you that. Figure out your judgment, rise into unconditional love, and say, why is your color like that? Why is that the way that you think? Why is that what you believe? And you might understand it, and you might say, well, that's not a very good reason to believe that. But in that ability to empathize, in that ability to open up your mind to someone else's reality, and to listen to their experience, and to understand their way of thinking, you are creating a bridge between different realities that are discordant, and you are providing a bridge to potentially make harmony. You are providing a bridge to potentially create Unitopia, because it is only through empathic understanding of each other that we can create Unitopian paradise. Are there any questions? I pray for my bee sting. I think the bees are aggressive over there. Why are you guys all saying TikTok? Oh, because it's been 9 minutes? Okay, AM is getting banned. We don't call people monkeys. Why were you putting a crystal in a beehive? That's a good question. That's a good question. I was putting a crystal in a beehive because I've done a lot of research about 5G, and I've seen that it does, it can severely hurt the bees. So I was doing some research, and some people were saying that shungite is a great protector of negative electromagnetic frequencies. I wasn't sure though, because I feel like the reason why 5G is so detrimental, and 4G and 3G and Wi-Fi are so detrimental to bees, is because they are using electromagnetic frequencies in order to communicate. That's the vibe that they're on, and we're interfering, like we're yelling in their space that they're trying to have their conversations in. So I thought maybe the shungite would help them tune out the other frequencies and only focus on their own. But I think that probably maybe it would be disruptive to them too. So I wasn't sure. So I thought I'll just hold it up to the beehive, which I don't own. It's they just moved in across the street in a tree. So they moved into the tree. I thought, this is wonderful. I have new bee friends. So I went over there and I held the shungite up to their beehive to see if they wanted it. Instantly, one of them dived onto me and just stung me on the hand, and I was like, I hear you. I hear you. I see you all have a lot of questions that don't have to do with the sermon. So unfortunately, I'm going to not discuss those. But do feel free to call 1-833-Unicult and ask your questions to a devoted member. They will have a delightful answer for you. Uni bless. Oh, Spirit of Uni. We bless this live stream. We bless all the people in it. And we hope everyone has a high vibrational, joyous, transmutational, highly enlightening week of information. Uni bless.